All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Always Race Day podcast. I'm Connor Ferguson here with Eric Bridger. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Eric, it seemed like last night there was a lot of people on Twitter posting right after 9 p.m. like this is going to be the most listened to podcast of all time. So thanks to everyone that said that. Might have been talking about Travis Kelce's with Taylor Swift, but we won't split hairs or anything on that. We'll get right into it. First, really want to thank Chris Weiser and the Weiser companies. They hopped on to sponsor Always Race Day this weekend during the Knoxville Nationals. So always really cool to get those and make those connections as well. And I can't thank Chris enough for his generosity, and definitely had a fun day Saturday with him. And we did a little introductory video. I kind of crapped on the fair a little too hard, I feel like, but either way, listen to that. It's a fun watch. All the video content we did this week was as fun as I could make it. I'll get into the tribulations of doing that in a wheelchair later. But first off, Donny Schatz and Stewart Racing split after 18 years, I think, if I got that number right. Eric, what was your thoughts when you saw that news?
Shocking. It seemed like the 15 car and TSR, they were definitely trying pretty hard to make changes, and that's what's switching to the Ford to the Chevy. Changing crew guys, crew chiefs, those type of things. Seemed like there was a lot of effort to try to get Donnie back to Donnie ways, and I don't think Donnie was seeing this because it sounds like from what I read that TSR did let him go. It wasn't really a Donnie decision, but I'll have to do some more research on that before I make my final understanding of that. But yeah, definitely shocking. I mean, after 18 years of same team, same driver, that's pretty long if you're not associated with a family deal or anything like that in sprint car racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I believe Sprint Car Unlimited reported this that Tony Stewart said that the move was made due to performance issues. So at least that's the story they're going with on the surface. Obviously, rumors fly all week, especially in Knoxville. That's what happens when all these sprint car personalities get next to each other, as word starts to fly. And it's kind of like that. Knoxville put out a video of the telephone game, and the drivers miserably failed at it, which I don't think there's ever been an alternative result from that game, whether you're playing with third graders or professional sprint car drivers. But that's what happens effectively during the week at Nationals. Clay, thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. But yeah, no matter which side made it or what happened to end that partnership, it's a lengthy and very successful one. And there's a reason there's only one that's been going for 18 years because of the, performance that Donny Schatz brought to Stewart Racing for those 18 seasons. And I believe almost 1,600 consecutive races. All the crown jewels they won. I think it was 19 in total, with 10 of those being Knoxville Nationals. Of course, he has 11 and won the first one in that Parker Store car. But in the meantime, Kerry Madsen's going to hop into it. He's been with TSR before. He's driven the number 14 car a few years ago and was really good at Jackson. They raced there Saturday, so I'm excited to see him in that car. Kerry Madsen will come back for season championship night at Knoxville too. So they'll have another interim driver in that 15 car for now, at least that ride for that North Dakota weekend. I guess we'll speculate a little bit more on this, Eric, but Donnie shook down a motor for Guy Forborough earlier this season. It was a deal set up so that his two nieces could get in a car and get some laps at Knoxville, and Donnie could be there and just be focused on that. And Guy wanted to try some things. They're old friends. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see Donnie go there in 2026.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I was listening to the Dirt Tracker podcast today, and on the Friday episode, he mentioned about Ricky Warner being in the pits, and Donnie was talking to him, and kind of like, I don't know what that was all about being in the pits with him being associated with Rico this year. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if Donnie still wants to do like a national tour. He's always said he always wants to be with the Outlaws. He'd never want to go the high limit type of deal. But maybe he's had a change of mind, and maybe he'll sit back and go to a regional schedule with Forberg car and all that. I mean, could be a potential duo to do around the Midwest. Stay home, stay close to North Dakota, but he also has that jet as well too. So I'm sure he in the competitiveness. So won't be surprised if he stays on the national tour, and also won't be surprised if he decides to maybe race local for the rest of the year or next year.
Yeah, and I know he wants that 12th Knoxville Nationals to tie Steve Kinzer for the most ever, and I think he's going to chase that for a few more years. I mean, obviously, wherever you're at in age, plans change, and anything can change with that. I'd love to see that. As a fan, my dream would be he comes and runs late model nationals, and we get to talk to him there, and then if it's Forbrook next season, do they just want to run it back in Knoxville every week? Because that'd be something fun to see too. So that's my dream as a fan, is that Donnie just races there every week, and we get even more eyes on the sprint car capital of the world. But either way, it is huge news, a huge change, and I think Sheldon Hodenshield and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now are the longest partners on the Outlaws Tour.
Yeah, I think so. Now that you say that, I think that's maybe Schuerenberg and Shark Racing.
No, you're right. It is Schuerenberg and Shark Racing.
Yeah, that's what
now
I
feel
think of.
Stupid because I was thinking about that stat all day, and just Shark Racing just didn't exist in my mind for a second. So my bad, guys. I love the guys at Shark. I don't know. It's post nationals, so I was asleep when the news dropped. I'm sorry about that, everyone. The 3 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after nationals, how hard I work, and even when I'm in a wheelchair, I guess I'll just sporadically I fell asleep sitting up today. I didn't even put my leg up, and I woke up and I'm like, that's hopefully not a cramp for later on. But I'm doing all good. Eric, where would you like to see Donnie go of the available rides, or even, you can throw out just your dream scenario, because I think have you been a Donny Schatz fan?
In the beginning, I don't know, I kind of like him, but now I kind of appreciate I don't want to call them old school drivers, but kind of grown up in that old school level, because he definitely races the cleanest. Seems like in the 410 ranks nowadays, you see drivers learn how to chop and block, and that's like their style of racing. Not saying that they do it all the time, but kind of have some respect for Donnie and his demeanor of trying to be a clean racer and respectable racer. And I think this is growing up when sprint car racing was a little bit different. That's the same thing's going to happen with David Gravel, Logan Schuchart, those type of drivers now. They're going to they're going to eventually be in the same shoes as Donnie was, hopefully one day. So it's going to be interesting. I guess my question back to you is, if Schatz goes to Knoxville in the late model, does he have to call it a dump like Davenport says it was? But
I would try to pit them next to each other.
Yeah.
And then I would try to get them on the same interview.
Yeah.
And I want to see Donnie's face when I tell him what Jonathan said, and I'd go back and get it verbatim and read the whole quote out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd kind of like to see Donnie still staying in the Outlaw Tour, or I don't know, maybe High Limit, if that's the deal now. Seems like there's some available rides now that could be possibility of deal. I just like to see him start winning again. Somebody that's had a long sprint car career, you hate to see the fall off like he's had the last 2 years, 3 years. So I just want to see him try to be more competitive again. I think he's a guy that still has that competitive fireness and everything. So I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see him maybe in the KKR9 car if that's a possibility, but I'm not going to speculate because there's.
Oh, that'd be sweet too. Talk about a power couple.
Yeah. So talk about a power switch of dominance and sprint car racing, those type of things. Because when Donnie kind of stopped winning championships, that's when Brad Sweet won championships, and but I don't know. I think the whole Ricky Warner thing being a help in the pits on Friday night, but with Donnie's comments about staying with Outlaws, I don't think he would drive a second Rico car if that's a high limit show. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of stuck at. So, but yeah, just want to see Donnie win. Just want to see Donnie compete. I think he's still got some life in him. I mean, you saw Sammy that's pushing 70 or is 70?
71.
71. That's impressive. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say I like to still see him stay in the Outlaws because one less driver for the Outlaw Tour. You know, don't want to lose drivers in the top tier sprint car racing series.
And I want to say thanks to Jay Tomyor. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Thank you for the comment. I try to say thank you to everyone that just leaves compliments like that. I know it probably doesn't mean much, and some people would get annoyed if there was more than a couple. But no, and this what I'm about to say is not crapping on Donnie or Gio Scelzi. This is just to say that it's a wild deal in sprint car racing. But Gio, a couple. It was last season. I think it was on our show. On Scelzi Says, he said that he loved racing with the Outlaws. Loved what they were doing. Didn't necessarily clown on High Limit, but says the Outlaws were the bigger deal, bigger tour, more professional tour, stuff like that. And this is none of this is verbatim. This is from memory, so please don't go fact check. He had strong words in being in favor of the Outlaws tour, as did Donny Schatz. I know Gio is going to go run High Limit now with the 7BC car, and they're taking care of him while they already got the theme song graphic video changed and everything. I thought that was a really nice touch and good attention to detail to have. But it's wild that we have those two guys that were probably the most strong about the Outlaws tour, about their comments, are now. One's going to race for High Limit the rest of the year, and the other is kind of in limbo right now. And no one has a clue on where he's going to go. And I think that's the coolest part of this whole deal. Like we could have a problem like IndyCar does and have a Will Power that has all these pole positions, all these race accomplishments. And from the sounds of his press conference on Sunday, no team is talking to him, which is nuts. And I don't think that should ever happen to race car drivers of their caliber. And I'll get back to the dirt, but that isn't happening here. I think 95 out of the 101 car owners at Knoxville that were there this week would take Donnie in their car. The few that wouldn't being Tony Stewart Racing that just lost him. And I don't think I'd dump Ryan Timms for Tony Stewart even now, or for Donny Schatz. But you get what I'm saying.
I don't know. Schatz made T-shirts that said "Always an Outlaw" or something like that last year.
Forever an Outlaw. Yeah, I got one.
Forever an Outlaw. So I mean, I don't know. I see Knoxville. Was it Knoxville Moss made a comment? Someone has a clue. So.
Oh, someone has
a clue. So yeah, someone does. There's always someone that has the news before the news makes the news. I guess you want to say.
His name starts with D. That's the one that has a slight clue.
D and the car owner.
Yeah, that's right. It's definitely going to be interesting navigating all this stuff, and I can't wait to see who they put in the car that isn't Kerry Madsen.
Yeah,
and see where.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
it kind of gives you a look in, like, hey, if we needed an emergency driver at any point, this is who we'd call. Aside from half the drivers are on the West Coast, and you're not flying to North Dakota for. I know Dominic Scelzi might, but you're not flying to North Dakota for 2 weekend Outlaw show. I don't think.
2-day show. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if they pick up like a local North Dakota driver or like a Dobmeyer or something like that, or I don't know. I feel like there's a couple drivers that might be able to, but depends on how. I don't know. I guess if your TSR probably has a lot of options that weekend if they really want to.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
Other news from the weekend since the Knoxville Nationals have ended. Spencer Baston is out of the Jason Myers Racing number 14 car. That one you can kind of tab to performance issues. I don't think Baston and the crew chief for that car mesh very well together. I've seen Spencer win races for years and be at the front. I saw him beat Kyle Larson at Bristol, and you can say that they don't ever race on the track like Bristol, and I get it, but it took balls to do what he did that night. And I've seen Spencer get better in a race car. I think he's a fantastic driver, and I don't think this season is a good reflection of his skills in the sport.
Yeah, definitely had the T-shirt, sweatshirt, flash sale going on Saturday afternoon, which is never good news. And then was it?
But some really good deals. Trust.
Yeah,
I'm going to get a crew neck tonight. Some really good deals.
$10 T-shirts. You couldn't beat that. So I'm sure a lot of race fans weren't happy with some cheap merch that usually paid, $30 to $60 or whatever dollars, whatever they was down. But yeah, that's never good news, and also never good news when their crew chief's posting 4 pretty much brand new motors for sale on the ads page for deals. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
and
definitely,
we try to not report rumors on Always Race Day. I was going to
yeah.
repost something about. I got a couple questions, and I didn't. Someone else had already posted the dual screenshots next to each other, and I was gonna. I think either I did repost that or I was going to,
Hmm.
and I didn't. So I just try to stay. If we're breaking a story, we'll break the story. But
Yeah,
if it's rumors, I'm not going to say anything until we have it and the team announces it, and that's just how it goes.
yeah, yeah. You always want to be professional about it and not speculate, especially when you talk about people that have careers, jobs on the line. Those type situations are always sketchy, and it's always hard for people on both sides.
For sure. Thank you, Bill. Bill Seals. He let me take his kid as an intern this week, and his name's Connor Seals. And very hard worker, complete trooper, pushing me around every. I said I'd get to national stuff later, so we'll keep it. We'll keep it news until.
Going to get the Connor and Connor show going.
He is going to come on here, I think, and he hasn't
Nice.
agreed to it yet. So I don't want to. I don't want to push the button, but he's going to come on here and do some shows with us and stuff. And I can't wait to see what he's got and add him to the team because it's he loves sprint cars and he loves watching the sport and he hates pushing me around, and that's the best guy to have in your corner. So I can't wait to get him on here. But the weird deal about the Baston thing is Corey Day is going to be in the other car. They're going down to one car. I should have said this all at one time, but they're going down to one car for the rest of the season. Corey's going to drive it when his schedule allows. Corey said on Instagram that he'd be on the West Coast for 2 weeks doing that. I don't know if that means he won't be there the third week with this high limit swing out there that's going on. And what it means for that car as far as the high limit charter deal goes. They do have 2 weeks to figure it out. They got 2 weeks out spending time with capable drivers that would probably all be fine getting in that car for a weekend. So I anticipate that car staying on the tour and Corey running the rest of Corey and whoever running the season out for those high limit owners points.
Yeah, I can't really see them giving up the charter, guarantee. Well, not really guarantee. They still got to finish out the season, but they're in a good spot for the charter system. So I really can't see them giving that up and giving up their point situation. I mean, the high limits probably only have like 10 or 15 shows left on the schedule, if that. So I mean, that's seems silly for them to give that up. So it'll be interesting to see who fills in those weekends that Corey Day can't compete. I'm guessing since they're going to be probably out in the West Coast, it's going to be a West Coast driver. So, but yeah, and then I'm guessing they're just going to have to reevaluate their situation and see what they want to do for 2026. I don't know that, and also that probably depends too on what Corey's schedule looks like for next year on the asphalt and NASCAR side as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not be shocked to see them bring a driver in, but Corey probably still wants to run still. And what does that look
Mm-hmm.
like? Will there be another team that replaces Jason Myers Racing as far as like on national tours? I have no idea. I think there could be a team that's popped up. That's all I can say about that. But we'll see. There's a lot of moving puzzle pieces around. My hope is that none of these guys, like a Spencer Baston, like none of these guys just find themselves without a ride, like a Zeb Wise. Zeb's a capable guy, and I'm shocked he didn't find a way in a car. I'm shocked we had 4 Australians at the Knoxville Nationals. Typically, we have closer to 10. It's just been a weird season so far. In the last month, it's only gotten weirder. And thank Drake comments on Twitter as well.
Eliason, yeah.
That's Corey Eliason too would be another one.
I think he's got a lot of laps at Skagit. I mean, that would be an interesting choice.
I think from that Knoxville story that I think Eliason was going to drive the Forbrick car at Nationals, but Guy
was supposed to
rotated out. Mm-hmm. So cool to see. Well, not cool to see. keeps you on your toes. Just we're wide awake the rest of this week and rest of this month. And what they do for Skagit Speedway, I just noticed. I should have said something about this earlier. They sent the high limit teams back out west, and then the week after they got to go to Port. The week after Skagit Nationals to Port Royal.
Yeah, I think that's more of the tougher drive because you have to be at port and like by Thursday at the latest, I think, or Wednesday.
Yeah, they race
And
Thursday. So
yeah, so you got to probably get port on Wednesday. I mean, the drive out west here for these guys. I mean, that's tough, but that was the same case last year too. That's a pretty tough turnaround for drivers and teams, especially if you have one or two guys if you have one guy with CDL, that's pretty tough. You have two guys with CDL, that's manageable, but still pretty tough drive to go. West Coast, East Coast. So that's a lot of driving in miles.
yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they change that next year. If not, hopefully you got two CDLs in the heart.
Part of the tour, part of what you sign up for. So
absolutely, they know it going in, right?
Oh yeah.
Kevin Thomas Jr. and Hybridder Racing, I hope I pronounced their name right because I get that wrong all the time. They announced that they have parted ways. KTJ is going to chase USAC championships. I'm not sure how many years he's got left with a wing on the car. And I think I've told this story on here, but one of the first interviews I did at Knoxville during Nationals week when I was a younger kid, I think I had talked Alabama football with Kevin, so I felt pretty comfortable asking him whatever. And I said, you're at Knoxville here, and he's a full-time wingless, non-wing driver at the time. And I said, you're here biggest 4 days of the year in dirt racing. Like, what do you think of it? And he said, well, it's the stupidest fucking shit we do, Connor. And I wasn't ready for him to say that, but he said for 351 days, I run this car without a wing on it, and we come here, put a wing on it, and expect to be fast. It's dumb. And I'll always remember that. Anytime I'm talking to a journalism class, I tell kids, you don't know what's going to come out of some guy's mouth. You just listen to it, figure out what it is, have some good follow-ups. But yeah, no, he super nice guy. I hope he lands on his feet. I love what he's doing with Inferno Armor. And yeah, we'll see if he ever hops in a wing car again. He could. I don't know. I just don't want to pretend I'm in his head or anything. Another one, Ty Wolfgang named as the crew chief on the Hunter Schuerenberg driven number 55 car. Thought that was pretty interesting. He helped Tanner Holmes over the weekend. They missed locking into Nationals by one spot in the points from Wednesday, Thursday, and then had a decent drive on Saturday, but it's tough for anybody that isn't locked in by Saturday. Only two guys have raced their way in that weren't locked into the first 5 rows of the B. We'll get to this, but that was Donny Schatz and PPM. But good on Ty Wolfgang to land on his feet and get a job there.
Yeah, the number of crew guys available, it's probably very slim to none. So I'm sure help wanted was filled pretty quick on his experience and being on the road for a little bit. So definitely guys somebody wants to hire.
Yeah, and for anyone looking for stuff, Bill Rose is looking for a crew guy. That was The tweet was weird. The tweet almost came off like a joke.
Well, you have to wonder if it had to deal with the incident in the D main before the race started. With Zach losing, I think it was something in the steering that broke. So, or bolt was loose or something like that. So,
and it absolutely could have.
Yeah.
I would almost assume that would be the cause of it because Zach hung a hard right or hard left and
hard left
wrecked in pace laps before the race even started.
Yeah, I remember 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5. Brian Brown lost a left rear tire going into turn 1 at Knoxville and started the race, and he, ironically enough, had a job posting for a crew spot opening the next day or Monday. So, not saying they had anything related with it, but it's a possibility. So, I mean, crew guys definitely have a lot of responsibility, and if you screw up, unfortunately, you're probably looking for a different job or career path.
Yeah, and I think too, if you screw up a certain thing, you're putting a guy's life in danger. And I think that's a big part of it. Here's I'll read the tweet for you guys. It says, August 11th, 2025. I like starting with the date, even though it's a tweet and it says date. But I'm
make it
just
official.
poking fun at Bill. I don't hate Bill. I'm not trying to make.
Yeah.
I don't think Bill wrote this. It was someone that works for him.
Everybody has their own press releases.
Yeah, as of this morning, we have terminated our crew guy. We wish him all the best going forward. In that regard, we are currently looking for a crew guy, minimum of at least 1 year of experience. It has the info that's at Bill Rose, Bill Rose 6_Rose. Search that on Twitter, and you can find the phone number and email address to contact them if you're interested. I just thought it read really funny, and I half thought it wasn't serious before.
Yeah, I had to
before we had this conversation, honestly.
I had to take a double look myself too, read it a couple of times, and then I kind of pointed two together with what happened on Saturday night and that posting. So, but
all right,
everybody has a ways of announcing news. That's for sure.
That is true. We put 4 letters that no one knows what they mean in front of videos, just in all caps to get attention. So I see it. I get it. Do you want to start with Tim's and work back,
sure,
or do you want to go through the week chronologically? What do you think?
We can start with Tim's. That's fine. So that's what we'll spend most time on.
So the first thing I'll say is Ryan Timms won the Knoxville Nationals. If you're listening to this, I hope you know that. We're good there? Okay. I didn't think I'd ever see, not even an 18-year-old, like a guy who's like 21 and younger. I never thought anyone that age. And I'm doing the thing where I assume every younger racer isn't as good as the older guys that tracks do when they're deciding if they should allow people to race somewhere or not. And I hate that, and I'm sorry. I just never thought I'd see one of them win that race. That's the most eye-opening stat from the whole thing, paired with the second youngest winner of all time since Kenny Weld, and I think he missed him by a couple months. The fact that last year in this same race, Ryan Timms was in the C main, he was a non-factor. The fact that I've seen him here banging his head against the wall, figuratively, not knowing how to navigate this racetrack, not knowing the ins and outs and what he needed to do. And then going to where he's won it and becomes the first guy from Knoxville that races there weekly to win the Knoxville Nationals since 1977. Like all 4 of those stats that I just put in there are reason and why I was not picking Ryan Timms going into this race, despite knowing how much talent he has. I've known him for 4 or 5 years now, and kid's amazing. It's spectacular watching him race.
Yeah. I think the discussions with other people that I had during the week was he was probably going to do well the first 25 laps, but then he was probably going to struggle in the second half of the race. And honestly, I don't think that car fell off at all between the first and second runs, I guess, race. I call them two races, basically, 2 25-lap races, which is kind of
I'm with you.
Yeah. And I never seen a car be so fast, like out of the gate, and hold its speed, like consistency. He was 3 or 4 seconds ahead within like 5 laps. So you're talking like a half a second at the least faster than second place. So I mean, sure, he had clean air, but it was just crazy of how fast he was at the beginning, how fast he was in the middle, and how fast he's at the end. It was just like that car did not slow down, and he drove the wheels off of it. And being 18 years old with all that pressure on you, I mean, I don't think very few, if not many, 18-year-olds can handle that and not crumble under pressure. And Tim's shown that he could do that. So I mean, that's definitely some big kahunas to do what he did, and show a bunch of guys that travel around the country. Not saying that they don't travel around the country, but kind of being of a Knoxville local car to win the biggest stage, and showing some guys that he can definitely win and be fast and basically kind of kick some butt and do it in a fashion that is even probably more impressive than maybe some of the Donny Schatz future wins when he was in his prime. So that was a very impressive beat throughout the week.
Yeah, and we saw Kyle Larson lead flag to flag last year and the year before that, and never was it this dominant. I want to read you lap times from lap 36. It was just the one I took the My Race Pass screenshot of. He ran a 16.774. And that the 2 laps prior, he ran a 16.869 and a 16.811. And so just showing he's running consistently this speed. Carson Macedo that lap ran a 17.2 to Ryan's 16.7. So that's 0.5 of a second faster. Rico was in third. He ran a 17.4. So he was 0.7 faster. Everybody else from Corey Day, who was in fourth, to the rest of the top 10 that included David Gravel and Kyle Larson, Gio, Sheldon, Logan, and Brad Sweet, were running 17.6s or a 17.7. Gravel ran a 17.9, in fact. So you're talking about almost a second faster than the entire field on the racetrack that was still there. And all of those being the top 10 guys in the facility. Like, I've never seen domination like that.
Yeah, like I said, I've never seen a car that fast and that, like, smooth. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure inside the cockpit he was definitely wheeling it and making some quick decisions, but it, like I said, just never seen anything like that before at Knoxville. I don't think anybody has in a long time.
If I could compare it to anything, it'd be Eric Bridger in the 81E spanking the field whenever Connor wasn't on the facility grounds.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So usually nights is what I won at, so, and you weren't there, so.
It's okay. Ayrton Jansen continued the trend this year, so.
Yeah, almost had to tell Dave when he was running the gate to keep you out of the racetrack.
Got saved from Eric, but he's not driving anymore. I got other drivers that are accusing me.
Yeah.
Ryan won nationals, so I feel like that's my saving grace. We're kind of there.
Yeah, you're getting there. Yeah, I saw you in the group photo.
I had.
That's probably like at 3 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, I'm friends with Ryan's stepmom, Kirsty.
Yeah.
Super nice woman, awesome to me. And she goes, "Nope, you're Connor. You're in the photo. You are in it. You stand right there." And I'm not going to say no to if someone wants to question my journalistic integrity when I report on Ryan's Tim's. Go for it. See if you can spot me tripping up. I guess I'm not picking my friends to win the Knoxville Nationals, even when they do, even when I would have been right. So maybe I should next time. I don't know. Luckily in this sport, people complain about a lot of things, but that's not anything I've ever heard complaints on. It's probably just more of an irrational fear of holding myself up and accountable and all that. So, it was a fun time with that group. After that, they were all on cloud nine. I came off like a huge D-bag in the interview with Ryan after the race, telling his crew chief, like, we don't need you anymore. So sorry to Shane, open apologies. Everyone was taking photos around us, and I was trying to say, like, if you need to do something, go ahead. Like, don't let me take up more of your time. And it came off so shitty. And I'm sorry. That was not how I was trying to sound. That's all I got from that video. Now, Eric, thank you for sponsoring some of our coverage at Nationals. And I got a Venmo request from Stephanie, and I forget her last name, so I apologize. But thank you for that. Where did you sit for Nationals? How did you take it in? Take me through any family traditions you got there.
So I think the first Nationals we went to was over just getting tickets from the front ticket salesman up front, scalpers. Just trying to figure out the name of it. Scalpers, and which, I mean, I don't think they really do that bad. I think they sell them at a fair price. So, so we sat there for Saturday night. That was back when we run micros, but we've been going to Nationals probably for about 10 or 12 years now. So it's been a while. But after that, we looked for 4 nights, and we found these tickets for sale on Craigslist, and we took a chance, and turned out that they weren't going to come back, unfortunately, due to some health issues. And they had been coming for years and years and years. And we just kind of fit right into the section of the groups, and we got lucky. We got row 40 seats, which is the top at Knoxville, and seats 1 and 2, which are pretty hard to get. And I think we won't be giving those seats up anytime soon. So we've kind of felt right into the group of people. We know the people in front of us a little bit, people off to our left, same people every year. So it's always good to see faces for 4 or 5 days out of the year and, catch up on things and see some good racing every nationals.
That's fantastic. The community you built, like
Yeah.
around people you sit by things like regularly for years. Because we always used to sit in it was like section AA and section BB, and they had the back of a Ricky Stenhouse Jr. cutoff, and this guy was like chanting section A at the section over there, and it was just back and forth. They would the groups in the crowd or the sections would cheer against one another. Even during the downtime. And then Wade, of course, was sitting there egging it all on. And my dad's like, how'd they get an Australian over here? What's he doing? And we had no idea. That was like 2009, 2010 area. So are you front stretch or back stretch?
Front stretch. So section M. So
you got the shade and you got
the shade. Yep, shade and whole view of the track. It's a little bit hard down to 1 and 2 being down there that far, but luckily you get the video boards in front and off to the left. So, some people don't like having the poles in front of you, but I feel like if you set like section 38 up or even like 37, you probably are fine with the poles in front of you. Plus, you're watching a sprint car go 125 miles an hour, past you, so you're not missing too much. So.
I feel like it's kind of like having the bar in front of your vision when you're driving. Yeah. Like you're looking and turning so fast anyway, like you're not going to notice it.
Yeah. I mean, the worst seats is definitely sitting like 2 seats and off to the right of the poles, but I don't know if Knoxville really even sells those tickets anymore. I don't know. Maybe they do, but
I was going to say the worst seats in the back of my dad's truck and not in the wheeling tower. I was begging him. I'll get to myself. I don't want to make anything about myself right now.
I think the biggest thing is having the breeze too, and that's what people don't realize. I feel bad for the people that sit in like section 10 and below because you're probably not getting no breeze, and the wind could be like 2 miles an hour, but it could feel like 5 up top, or if it's 5 miles an hour, sometimes you get a good breeze. So that's another thing too, especially this weekend. The last like 2 or 3 nationals, it's been a little bit cooler. I mean, I remember having a sweatshirt on like every night last year.
Yeah. I think the last 3 nights, last 2 nights, it was like in the 50s after the 50s.
Race. Yeah, which is perfect. Like, give me that. I mean, I know some people don't get the full nationals feeling with a little bit of chill, but this year was definitely appreciative having the shade, and especially Saturday night since they started so early. I mean, go
up. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because that's been a hot topic of some
until the Schatz news
come into town that aren't really here. Yeah,
that was the topic of discussion this morning and last night until Donnie and TSR decided to break the internet.
Yeah, so I'm referring to Jeremy Elliott and TJ. TJ Slideways because it's like Buffenbarger, and I changed 2 of the letters in my head and I get it wrong. So TJ, love both those guys. And they've been to all these nationals for every year they've been here. They know what they're talking about. I was just throwing them some crap. But they're both, on the side of like starting it earlier, like they did Saturday. And, they started it earlier. They had hot laps scheduled at 5:00. And then the rain forecast, their rain forecast must have gotten better, more so than the one I was looking at. Because it looked like it was still going to rain a lot. Yeah, but the storms dissipated and they did their thing and moved stuff back even with starting early. I don't think you can start that early every year consistently and still I think 6:30, 7:00 is the sweet spot right around there, as long as you get the E-main going close to that. But most years you're going to be in the sweating sun, like just absolutely banging down on you. I think the only thing they didn't really do for opening ceremonies wise was like wait 10 minutes for a skydiver. And I don't think they're going to have skydivers again after the debacle that was waiting so long for them to land. That's just my honest opinion on that. But if anything, like I think they almost kind of ran like the full thing. They abbreviated a little bit, but it seemed like the full Nationals experience.
Yeah, it seemed kind of odd to start early. And I know some fans got kind of the short end of the stick by going in the grandstands at 4 o'clock and not seeing racing until 6. I do feel bad for them because they had to either go downstairs to get shade or sit in the sun for 2 hours. But unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. I mean, track prep and track probably had a little bit of discussion, decided to push it back an hour just for the sake of the show. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can really start at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. This year they got lucky because it got cloudy and it had very high humidity in the sky, which brought the moisture back to the track. They didn't do a full rework, I think. Not the track prep, not Duncan, so I can't really speak upon that. But
we were gonna do an infield beers with them after one of the races. Yeah. We just ran out of time, so I apologize for not getting that for you guys. It will go back on the list for next year, I promise.
Yeah, they're definitely informative and really explicative about what they do. So I mean, they don't try to shy away and accept the mistakes that they do. So definitely good people to have and good staff to have too. But yeah, I think you just have to. I think you can still start at 7, but maybe try not to drag it out so much in between the features. And I know they try to make sure you have like a full nighttime, main show. But I think, I feel like last year they still did a pretty good job of getting done by 10:30, 11 o'clock, which I think is acceptable for a prestige race and the best race, in sprint car racing.
Yeah, I'd say move it up so the local Des Moines media can get back to their jobs, but they didn't show up this year, so I won't. Sorry.
I think I saw one clip of them using the highlights from Knoxville. And
it was Jeff Dubrow from KCCI, one of my buddies. I appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you to KCCI for covering. It's top 3 race in the world. It's bigger than that Iowa Speedway race you saw the Sunday before, and I saw all y'all out there. And I'm not crapping on individual people, but get out there and cover this great event. Thank you. That's my TED Talk.
How much money it brings to the state of Iowa and Knoxville.
Oh, it's insane. You should see the money per capita. Comparatively, you think the fair brings a lot of money to a group of people? Like if you just put it per capita, I think Knoxville wipes the floor with it.
Yeah, I mean, you have people that probably spend 1 or 2 days max at the fair versus spending 4 to 5 to even 10 days at the track. And, there's only so many hotel rooms in Newton or Knoxville or Pella or Oskaloosa. So most of them are spending their money in Polk County and eating in Polk County or dining or whatever. So, I mean, there's 4 or 5 counties around that are definitely getting the revenue aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting next year to see it with a week later. You're going to have your people that check out the fair early.
I think that's how the calendar works a little bit. So I don't know what.
Now,
I think Labor Day is like a week later this year.
How it was said to me was that was a move because of NASCAR.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to handcuff fans to going to one of those events and not both. As some fans, I had friends that were planning on going to the Cup race on Sunday and drank too much at Knoxville on Saturday and didn't go. And they probably didn't. I mean, I know they didn't mind because they woke up Sunday and said, we're not coming. But it sucks because that's a sold out weekend in June we can have. That's a big race weekend that my site can cover on the easy drive in April or May or wherever you have it, and sticking it right there and then saying like, oh, maybe some of those fans will come out here. Well, that's not what happened. All the seats down there already taken. All the seats up there. The people that were going to buy them are going to buy them no matter the time of year.
Yeah.
If anything, you had whatever 15 NASCAR people came down here. Shout out to Chase Briscoe for doing an interview with us. And nice of Sheldon Creed to come down and support Brett Moffitt. Good meeting those guys, and 2 fantastic dudes there too. But that's all it was. That's all you got out of it was a few NASCAR guys came down here, which is great. I'm glad they got to. I wish NASCAR would just take off Knoxville Nationals weekend, but that's a pipe dream of mine. In 10 years, when I have more influence, we'll push that harder.
I heard they want to do 2 off weekends next year, so maybe you'll get your wish.
We're going to have to find someone up there to not explain. We're going to have to trick him, I think.
Get that Steve Phelps direct number. Get the dial going.
Yeah. That'll do it. We will go through, I guess, some of the stuff that happened during nationals, and I've got some that's popped into my head too. And if you guys have any questions on anything that happened during the week, and you want our takes on it, and we're going to get to Hickel, and we're going to get to everything that happened. But PPM came through the field in 2023, starting outside the first 5 rows of the B-main. He was the first one to ever do it since they started that format in 2012. And now Donny Schatz becomes the second, albeit thanks to a bit of, ding-dong kissing from the ferry, really was how it happened. But regardless, Donny has 27 straight A-main starts at Knoxville. Eric, when he started 5th with 2 laps to go, I was like, yeah, he's making it.
Yeah, I don't think there was no chance that he was not going to make it with the car being in one piece. I feel like that was his opportunity right there. And like you said, he got kissed with the ferry, whatever ferry you want to have. So
he was not going to make it if it stayed green. There was no one.
No, and the 2 cars dropping out? I think it was.
Yeah,
or one
it was
car.
2 cars wrecking, and I think in unrelated accidents.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was going to finish probably like 8th or 9th or 10th or something like that. He wasn't very fast, and he just luckily enough had the opportunity to, get lucky sometimes, and that's part of racing, to make the A-main. So, he seemed like he made it worth his while. I think he finished 11th in the big show on Saturday night, which, by his standards, probably was a crappy night, but still was able to make most of what was due.
Yeah, and I think the remarkable part of that stat is I think there's been 4 guys who have 26 or more A-main starts, period, in their careers at nationals, and he's done it 27 in a year, or 27 in a row. Like, you just never screwed around and had a bad night. Never let an early wreck get him taken out. It's just remarkable how well that he's been able to do there over the years, and it can't. No matter what car he's in, when Nationals rolls around next year, we're going to be talking about Donny Schatz. I can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah. Keep that streak alive.
Absolutely. Sorry for that bad tweet I had. I had that queued up all week. Very ashamed of it. Was not very good, but I like taking big Twitter trends and just making them sprint cars. Either way. JJ Hickel and Brian Brown get into it. Brown was coming around. He tried to make the top line work and make a pass on JJ as he was sliding out of turns 1 and 2 and out of turn 2 and going to that top line. They kind of 2 guys looking for the same piece of real estate on Thursday, and it sends Brian Brown flipping and put him out of the car for the rest of the weekend with I believe broken hand and broken wrist on the opposite arm.
Yeah, hopefully Brownie's doing okay. Definitely a hard hit, and tough situation. I don't know if he still had his arms on the steering wheel or hands on the steering wheel. That could be a possibility, but as far as the accident went, I don't know, and I'm not in the driver's shoes, but it seemed like Brownie had an opportunity in turn 2 to surpass him low instead of high. He chose the high route, and unfortunately, I think Hickel was just in his way of running his line, and there's no way if he's not going to go off the throttle coming at it too. He's going to stay his foot into it, and I think unfortunately, Brown probably either ran out of room or just misjudged how far he was going to come off the racetrack. It was something definitely brewing, and I'm sure Brownie was probably running out of patience of trying to pass him, because if he passes him, he makes a transfer spot. That sets up his whole week because he qualified very well. He probably would have been started in the front 4 or 5 rows at A-main probably. So definitely a tough spot to be into, but sometimes that's how sprint car racing goes. You got guys trying to push a lot to get as many spots as you can, especially when there's a spot for a qualifying night transfer and pretty much your Knoxville Nationals right in front of you. And that's for both sides too. Both for Hickel and both for Brown. So I think the ironic part is that they were both pitted side by side. So definitely had some few words, look like, to choice words for each other.
Yeah, and I'll real quick on like the actual accident. I echo what Eric said, and I think Brown was maybe too aggressive too early. Probably could have locked in just passing him at any point. And I was shocked at the comments on Twitter Thursday on both sides of just you can't block in a sprint car. I really don't know what you can try your ass off. It's pretty damn difficult to actually do that without a mirror behind you. JJ Hickle is not looking for the 21 car and saying like, I'm going to wash out of the corner just because that Matt Morrow engine they had was the same one that quit on him when JJ was leading the weekly race a few weeks ago. So it was not running perfect. It was not running great. They made some improvements to it Friday. So that was good. Now I want to talk about trying to get the video in between of the two pit crews. And that was one I rolled over there, and thanks to my dad and Connor for pushing me. Because I'm in a wheelchair, obviously. I stood up in the wheelchair, which Matt Morrow's daughter just looks at me like, whoa, what are you doing? And I'm balancing on one foot. She's acting as if I just learned how to walk. But I was just trying to get the camera up like close enough. I know the audio is probably crap. I didn't even go back and watch it. I just put the quotes I heard into the caption on YouTube and Twitter. So I appreciate you guys. If that was two legs me, I'm in the middle of that with the phone in the air. So I will go do that. I don't care who yells at me to get away. Like that's their own problem. But next year we'll have that. And apologies for how far away I was for that video. I posted it thinking like, well, it's better than nothing. It's never to try and clickbait people into views or whatever phrasing you might want to say on that. It's something that happened between two teams in a big race, and we always want to be there to cover both sides of the deal, no matter if driver A wants to talk and driver B doesn't, or vice versa. So we'll continue to do that no matter what race we're at and no matter who's involved. But David Gravel and Hunter Schuerenberg on Wednesday. Real quick, this is the other thing I had written down, and that I thought it was pretty clear that Hunter Schuerenberg slid into Gravel and took him out. And Gravel tried to come back the rest of the night. They ran the C main, they ran the B. I don't think they got through the B. They got however far up. Hunter Schuerenberg said he got into dirty air and it forced him into Gravel. He basically said, like, that's what happened. My fault. I took him out. But before Hunter could give that interview, David was on the microphone saying, like, I don't know what he's doing. He's driving with his eyes closed. And the crowd was filled with Larson fans, I'm sure, that wanted to boo the crap out of Gravel the first chance he got. And seemingly Gravel in reaction said, like, I'm friends with Hunter. I like Hunter, this and that. And I thought it was a week full of great sound bites, including that night. And I thought Hunter's gif on Twitter of him, like, with someone with a blindfold on and said, I'm going to sign autographs with my eyes closed at 4:30 at my trailer. I just thought that was a nice touch too.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter lost some nose. He definitely got in dirty air. You can see him get tight. I mean, that's in Gravel. I see why Gravel was trying to pinch him, because he's probably just going to try to take his lane from him. Well, with Hunter getting so tight, there's just nowhere for him to go.
Yeah. Did you think that's what Gravel was doing? Because you've been in the car. I haven't.
I think he was trying to pinch him down and try to take that like spot or take that area of the track.
Get that row kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of having somebody push up to you if you ran higher to, take some air off of your air off your wing or whatever. I think he was just trying to be aggressive and trying to like shoot for the middle, maybe. I don't know. But I think it's just a bad timing for both drivers, because Schuerenberg got tight. Gravel was going to take that area spot, I guess you want to say. I mean, it's just what happened. I mean, I think Schuerenberg said it perfectly, and Gravel is just trying to sell some T-shirts, I guess. So I don't know, or try to get more booze and try to accept the villain aspect of it.
Yeah, he hadn't. So we did an interview before the race, Friday night. And I was going to save that question. I'm glad I didn't because we ended up not talking to him Saturday, and I'll get to that. But I asked him, are you embracing the villain role? Is that something that you're trying to? And he said, no, I'm just being me. I say shit, then shit happens, and then people react how they're going to. Then he takes the mic and says, like, I'm 33, get your oxygen tanks, like, hope you're here for a long time. I'm like, all right, David, that's a
villain role a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
I also just think that's a little bit of David. Like
it's
just like if you're gonna boo me from there, like I'm just gonna say what I think, and I love that about David. He's always been like that.
Yeah. I think you gotta be a little bit cocky sometimes to be a sprint car driver. So
absolutely, right. So if you're listening, say motherfuckers on the mic next time. Don't give me the mother effers. But it's still awesome. I watched that clip today. I still love it.
Kid show. Gotta calm it down.
Well, they're going to hear it at some point anyway when they listen to my stuff. When they listen to my stuff, they're going to hear it anyway.
You got Donnie talking about getting kissed on the peckers. I guess it's about the same thing.
Ding dong is much cleaner. I think
that's true.
We can't get on Donnie about that.
Yeah,
he's got enough phone calls coming this week.
His phone is blowing up.
What do you think of Sammy Swindell? Was he on a mission to drop one-liners? Because I didn't realize till I got home Sunday that he had two. And then the gravel one was that was just like completely out of nowhere.
Yeah. I don't really get the gravel one. I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean,
that's what I said. I was like, that's really funny. I don't know what he's trying to say, but I guess.
I would definitely say walking around Wednesday to like Friday or Saturday, there was definitely more activity at his t-shirt fair than it was Wednesday morning. So, I mean, I guess kudos to him. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is Sammy being a little bit more vocal now since he's not technically a full-time racer. So, I mean, this is
Kurt Ferentz 2.0, 3.0.
Yeah, maybe with old age, maybe get a little bit more mouthy or something like that, I guess, or I don't know what you want to say. But I know Ryan Levitt with his track threads was got the okay from Sammy, or Sammy's getting the cut or something like that of t-shirts, because he made t-shirts from one of his lines. I think it was what he said Friday night.
Yeah, that was the other interview we did at Dingus, which was just a slamming idea. I'm sorry, guys. I sound drunk in both interviews. I was, so that's on me.
Saturday night after Nationals, there's no telling what happens. So at least he didn't end up on the Marion County who got arrested page. So shout out to you. So
we're good. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah. I mean, definitely good week for Sammy. I mean, for what him and Flea and their team has. I mean, it's experimental car, and it seems to be working out pretty well. I know when they first came out to Knoxville, they were slow, really slow. So definitely put some into, fans liked it, especially the older ones, I feel like. So, but yeah, I know.
The crazy part is last year those guys took me through exactly what they were doing on the car. They had the coilover shocks. They were trying kind of an outdated technology almost, and putting their own spin on it. This year, and I called Sean Hill at the start of that video.
I forgot about Sean. Sean's part of that deal.
And so Flea, I go to Flea because I know him a little bit better. I've talked to him like 2 more times in my life. I love both those guys. And he goes, "Why don't you have Sean do it?" Absolutely. We'll do Sean, and Sammy wants to do it, and both of them sat down with us. It was awesome. But Sean, I was expecting him to take me through the car and what he was doing. He goes, "There's some changes there," and he just smiles at me, and it was I was like, "Okay, that's why you're faster. Got it.
Yeah,
awesome. And that it put a little pep in my step, because I'm like, okay, I can expect more out of this car tomorrow when I watch Sammy drive it again. As opposed to like, if they're showing me everything, I don't think they think it's necessarily going to go that fast. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they didn't want to show everyone else what they were doing because they believe they got something under there.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know that I never spoken to any of those guys, but definitely seems like I follow Flea on X, and definitely seem like be 2 guys that are very good mechanically and innovative wise. So I don't don't blame them for not sharing what they did different, but definitely got a lot of time to brainstorm and and also have a very talented driver that's can get the job done if you have a car that goes fast, and that's what happened this week.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah,
The only I was going to ask you about the crowds. I thought Wednesday was really big.
yeah,
I thought
records
Saturday was normal. I
numbers.
thought Thursday and Friday were a little bit down from what
Hmm.
I typically see, and I don't know why we saw that, but that was that's how it looked from my seat. I guess I'll take you guys through a little bit here. After 360 Nationals on Sunday, we covered the Cup race. I was getting bad cramps late Sunday night and like all of Monday, and I was watching Oski at home on the TV. Just that wheelchair was hard enough getting around Knoxville, where half the place is paved. There was no shot. I couldn't pay someone enough money to push me around Oski. It wouldn't have worked. So. Thanks everyone who watched and listened. Made it our biggest nationals ever. Thanks for, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, tell your friends to subscribe. I appreciate that. There will be more post-race videos next year of just like normal stuff with guys that were fast on the track and stuff. It was so hard moving with the crowds and setting up chairs and stuff to do these long form things that we're doing that, like, I know next year when I'm running, I can just grab a chair on the way, or I can run and grab whatever and grab whoever. So thank you for sticking tuned with that. And sorry we couldn't get you more this year. And that's something that I hold myself too high on, because I like having 6 or 7 there a night. But appreciate y'all for staying for the ones that we did, and all the nice comments I got. And Eric, give me your answer on that stuff. I'll do Chris right at the end.
Yeah, Wednesday was definitely busy walking around a little bit. Definitely a record crowd. But yeah, it was definitely kind of odd nationals. I don't know if that was just like weather wise or what, but Thursday was just seemed like it wasn't as busy, and same thing Friday, but Friday was definitely warmer and definitely pretty hot out. And Saturday just seemed kind of odd because we started so early compared to the last, you know, since forever. But yeah, I mean, it was still pretty good. It was just kind of different. So, how the week went. So, but definitely some one-liners and some interesting comments and heated discussions, and whole, kind of bad to see all those wrecks and people getting hurt, but also good to see, nothing serious or anything like that too.
What did you think of Matt Jewell admitting to Dirt Vision that he was trying to hang around for that trunk bar award?
Oh yeah. What did that pay, like $1,800? So I mean,
1911, and I
1911,
think
1911.
if you transferred from the D to the C, and
You got
Ayrton told me
800.
this was right. He might have been mistaken on. Someone could have made a mistake in either
Yeah.
spot here, but it was 1,700 if you transferred and got last.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's you actually get money to transfer from the actual race, like 500, $800, and then you also get money to start the next race. So
Yeah, I think one
which is
was 8,
different.
one was 9.
Yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
assume, well, I think the transfer was 9 and the next
Yeah.
race last was 8. So there's definitely, they definitely have the incentive to transfer anyways.
Hmm.
And you saw what trying to sit in that spot gets you.
Yeah.
So I know Trunk Bar works their tails off to get those donations for that.
Right.
It's all right around in the same area right now. And I don't think no matter how big it gets, I really don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. Now, I don't know, maybe someday they split it into 2 awards and give it to the 2 guys under there. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely worth it to try to get in that spot, because I guess you don't have to really like spend money to run the race. I don't know. You saw Brenham Crouch basically make a half a lap at the most and pull in for the D main. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, I mean, it gives yourself in the race for us. Definitely a good thing to give something for the racers that have a bad week, like Joel. Joel definitely had a bad week after Saturday night, crashing a car, but
He had a great car too. I was
yeah,
kind of
that
shocked
was
that didn't win Best of Pairing.
Yeah. I have different opinions on who should have got maybe second and third on the best appearing car. So
None of them looked as good as the Ryan Levitt plain black number 40, though.
yeah, I think he definitely should run that like championship night or something like that.
I
That'd be
think
cool.
that's the plan for him. He wants to do a different throwback to his grandpa next year.
Next year, yeah, they're going to break out a different number. So and throwback. So that'd be cool to see. Definitely did a pretty good job on it. Well deserved in the 360 Nationals, that's for sure.
I was just poking fun at the internet commenters saying like that's just a plain black car. And it's like
they did plain black car. Exactly how it was. So I mean, that's a good throwback.
I agree. I agree.
Sometimes you can't do a throwback completely like like with Sides' car with Wyndham. I mean, that wasn't a completely throwback. I mean, it was close to it, but it wasn't exact.
Yeah, and I get the sponsors want this and that out of it. I as long as you can kind of tell, I think you're in good company. You got anything else about Nationals?
I mean, definitely shout out to the Knoxville guys. Chris Martin, or not Chris Martin. What's his brother? Cam Martin.
I did that when I tweeted the lock-in lineup, and I feel bad. Cam's not on Twitter, so the only one that got tagged was his brother.
Yeah.
So sorry, Chris. I apologize.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Cam Martin. He definitely has very limited experience in 410s, and making the Saturday night Knoxville Nationals. That's nothing.
He made it. He didn't crash a car. He stayed on the lead lap longer than I thought he would. He might have finished on the lead lap. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he might have finished on the lead lap. He was definitely pretty close in the first half of getting lapped down. But I mean, I know they had to do Danny Lazowski turn some wrenches for him, and for Chris. But I mean, that's pretty impressive for somebody young as well too. That to make the biggest show, to make the biggest sprint car show of the year. Yeah,
ended up P13 on the lead lap.
Mm-hmm. That's impressive. I mean, Schatz was P11, so I mean that's. I know you had a couple guys drop out in the second half of the race, but I mean, there's nothing really to put your. That's a very good run, but especially his rookie year. So even though Bachhoven said this is 10's rookie year.
Yeah, rookie year of like first A main start, not really rookie year. Which it gets confusing. I get what he's saying.
It did. Yeah, I get what he's saying. Rookie year of the A main start, which is impressive, but I think some race fans were a little bit confused in the grandstands after that was said. So, but totally get what he was saying on both sides.
Yeah, I was just looking at Tim's lap times again. In those 2 laps. Or went green with 4 to go. I think he ran a 16.9, a 16.7, a 16.7.
I'd like to see
the lap. And then a 17.0. So that's still, compared to Rico, went 17.7, 17.4, 17.1, 17.3. Like
that's crazy.
Back the field is just continues to get slower because that's
if I had
works.
If I had time, I'd definitely get a spreadsheet and like compare his fall off versus the rest of the field, like top 10, just to see what it looked like.
Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, just to see
a lot of columns. Like. I don't know. I'll figure out a way to present it, but
like top 5 finishers or something like that.
Yeah. No. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to Chris Weiser and the Weiser companies for hopping on board this week. I really appreciate them. I got to see if he wants like a real vintage ARD ad. When we were with the other company and we were with under the Carl Auto Group banner for a little bit, they just said give him a 30-second ad in whatever you want to say. And so I just make up some stupid story and try to make it a little funny, because if you're going to listen to me talk about an advertiser, I either want it to be real or I want to entertain you a little bit. I don't see the vision in here's a name, just go talk about them. I don't love doing that, but so we would just make up like a reason to buy a new car every week and say, go to the Carl Auto Group and get one. And so maybe we'll bring that back for Chris, and I'll talk to him and see what he wants to do. But I really appreciate him jumping on. We'll have I'm going to have Caleb make us like a banner and stuff, so it looks a little more podcasty on YouTube, and we'll put his logo there and everything. And there's obviously more space for anyone else to hop on. If you're at all interested in sponsoring or anything like that, my email is connorford9@gmail.com, or you can reach out to either my account or the Always Race Day Twitter account, and I'll eventually see your message. I saw Chris's at 4 a.m. on Saturday, getting ready for Saturday morning, really. But yeah, thank you to everybody, and thank you to anyone who commented, liked, subscribed, all that stuff through the week. Could not have been more fun to me. And lastly, this is the first time across the 3 platforms we've had 1,000 viewers during the live show. So appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching. Thank you. And I think we might try to do an asphalt show this week. If not, we will see you next week. But at least for the dirt side of things, we will see you next week and every week from here the rest of the year and the rest of 2026 and the rest of those years to come. So, Eric, you got anything to say?
Nope. Just
You
appreciate
followed all
having me
those
on.
words up that I said with nothing.
Nothing. I appreciate you having me on. So glad you survived the week.
He's a Knoxville Nationals comeback if the right ride opens up.
Well, I just want to say a shout out to your dad for pushing you around all week, because I pushed you around for about 30 minutes on Friday night, and that was definitely a workout.
I should have lost more weight before the car crash. I'll try to do it. Hopefully not. Hopefully there is a next one, but
hopefully not.
I'm trying to get back in the gym, and I can't walk for another 4 weeks, and it's driving me nuts right now. So I look ballooned up. I am. Give me a couple months, and we'll try to take it back down. But thank you guys for tuning in again, and thank you James for the comments. Really appreciate it. That might be my Uncle Jim. I'm not sure. It's a YouTube account, so the names always get screwed up. But appreciate all you guys. We're out of here for the night. See ya.
Yeah.